This is not the video I was planning to make. Not for this game, and not for this time. Hi, welcome to A Friend Reacts, over a month late to the party. I was really looking forward to playing Sonic Origins, but I was also really dreading it. I was also really looking forward to recording videos for this YouTube channel, but also kind of dreading this one. The channel has been a bit empty for a while. The last release was the Ratchet & Clank video game movie, which came out last week. It was actually recorded and 90% of the editing was done over 2.5 months ago. And then I didn't release it when it was ready because I kind of knew I was going to have a busy couple of months in late spring, early summer this year. And I'd had a break in May 2021. I thought I'll do the same in May 2022. I'll have the Ratchet movie script ready and I'll record some other videos and I'll relaunch the channel after a short break. All so far so good. And that didn't happen because I was busy. I had a lot on and I was also not particularly healthy and under the weather. I'd been feeling it for a while. I'd been dreading actually going to the doctors and finding out what was really wrong with me. And at the same time, there was this re-release of the Sonic the Hedgehog video games that was coming out. This grand collection of Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic CD and Sonic on Knuckles. Is it 5 video games or is it 4? The world seems to be really confused about that. It's 5 video games presented as 4 in one remastered package. And that word's important. This is a remaster. This isn't just the ROMs. This isn't just someone grabbing the software, the 30-year-old coding and software that was made by Yuji Naka back in the 1990s and putting it on a disc for the PlayStation 5 and charging £40, $40 for it. That really would be a rip-off. I understand the resentment towards the price tag on that front if you thought that's what was happening, but that's not what's happened here. This is the 4 games remade from scratch using the same artwork and the same goals for the physics and design, but it's a fundamentally new engine that's running the games, or at least new in modern sense. The engine is actually somewhere between 5 and 10 years old. The Sonic CD port we have here is the same one that came out in 2011. Sonic 1 and 2 are versions that existed on mobile in 2013. The only thing that's brand new here is Sonic 3, but we haven't seen that game in years, and it arguably is the best 2D platformer of the 16-bit era. It's arguable, it's debatable, it's a hotly contested title for good reasons, but Sonic and Knuckles, those 2 games in one, is in the conversation. It's there. And this collection, bringing those games to a new audience to appreciate the glory of Sonic's heyday and getting those games that have only been on mobile onto modern consoles and actually accessible to a wider audience, was a really good thing. They missed Sonic's 30th anniversary. They really wanted to hit Sonic's 31st. There was just one thing that I was dreading about this. It should have been a slam dunk, but I knew in my heart that they were going to take away my favourite part of that video game. And it sounds stupid because when I went to see the Sonic 2 movie in the cinemas, there was a point in that movie where something happened that I thought was really unexpected. There's a scene in those movies where Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Eggman are all racing down a mountainside, and Sonic jumps on the snowboard and Knuckles jumps on the snowboard and the badniks are chasing after them, and I thought, okay, they've Hollywoodized it, but this is a scene from the video games. This is a pretty direct remake, reinterpretation of the opening of the ice cap levels from Sonic 3. This, if you go back to the 1993, 1994, this was one of the coolest moments of gaming. Sonic bursts onto the scene, hits a board, and just snowboards down that hill. And then the level starts. It was a cheap, fairly brief, fortunately, it definitely could have outstayed its welcome, just cinematic spectacle. That's what the Sonic games were really good at back in the day. These brief moments of spectacle. They've definitely gone more and more overboard on it as time went on. But that moment was accompanied by one of the most defining video games tracks of its era. If you go on websites such as Overclock's Remix, which is a website designed to allow people to remix and reinterpret old video game music, it's one of those tracks that gets a lot of people trying to remix it. It's really popular, but it's not there. It's not in the game. And neither is the levels immediately before or after it, and a few other tracks they've played around with. So I was dreading this game coming out because I knew they were going to ruin one of my favourite moments of gaming. And I played the game, and I enjoyed 99% of it. It's a really good collection. There is some screwy stuff. The weird thing that happened is a lot of the people who complained about this game when it came out are actually the hardcore Sonic fans, the people who really like it. There was some stuff they really didn't like, and there are reports of bugs out there. The PC release has an anti-piracy collection, which is causing a lot of problems. But for me, there was only two things that drove me wild. One of them is it's just a little bit too easy to get crushed in moments that it just really shouldn't happen. And that's due to the remake engine just being a little less forgiving than the old one. But in 99.9% of the time, the physics in this new engine are spot on. Credit to Stealth and Taxman and the entire team who did that. Regarding the coding, the really weird thing there is the bugs that I've seen online that other people have encountered, that's not due to the people who made the games, because Sega did a really stupid thing. They're committed to what they call the hedgehog engine. It's the system they've used to make all the last Sonic games for the last decade, and they've used that engine to make the islands and the menu screens, which are quite pretty and graphic. But then the problem is the game isn't booting up these games, Sonic 1, Sonic CD, directly. It's running the games through the hedgehog engine. So as far as I can tell, a lot of the bugs people have encountered are because this over-engine, this sort of giant capsule, which is only there to display the menu, is then running the game inside it. So you're not getting the full horsepower of your computer or console to run the game. The console is having to run the engine, and then the game is it's like Russian dolls. And so these bugs appear to be being introduced fresh into this collection that weren't in the previous remakes, and that's really disappointing. Sega didn't need to do this. Sonic Mania, when it released, was just the retro engine. It was just the game. You didn't need to make a hedgehog engine capsule to control everything. I've no idea why Sega's done that. And hopefully some of the patching they're going to do, and they have announced they will do, will relieve some of these bugs. But it's a inane and stupid decision from an outside perspective. But as I said, the only people who are going to encounter these bugs are people really testing the engine, testing the game. And with the new Infinite Lives and the availability to play Sonic 3 in completion on a modern console, I've just adored this. Save for the I had to turn it off. I hated it. I can't be unambiguous about it. It's a travesty. It's not just because they couldn't get the old music. What they've replaced it with, they're not even attempted to replicate the feel of what was one of the coolest. It now sounds like a circus is playing, and when it should be cool and fast and speedy. Instead, it's this bombastic blah blah blah. So apart from having to mute the television for those 3 levels, just playing through them again. And it really reminded me, the final few levels of Sonic 3 and Knuckles are the most fantastic ramping up of tension of almost any video game. Even to this day it stands up. You go into the Sundopolis, you're haunted by ghosts, you descend down, find yourself working your way through the underside of a volcano. You find Eggman's spaceship is actually sat on top of the volcano. The volcano starts to erupt and you fight Eggman through the lava. You make your way through to the cool side where you find a hidden palace where the Master Knuckles is guarding the Master Emerald. These are the scenes that the Sonic 2 movie replicated. This is the plot of the movie. Eggman turns on Knuckles. Knuckles uses the last of his strength to help you then get back to him. You ascend upwards, through another zone, in the skies, through the clouds, upwards. You face down Metal Sonic. You beat him. The entire zone's crumbling around you, falling to Earth, but you climb upwards, jump onto the spaceship. You ride the Death Egg into space. You fight it. And then the final boss where you turn into Super or Hypersonic and pursue Eggman, who is clutching and racing away from you, trying to rush away with the Master Emerald. These really are some of the most fantastic levels in any video game I've ever played. The tension, the ramping up and the progression through those last 5 levels in Sonic and Knuckles, I'd tip my hat to it. The cinematic spectacle they were able to achieve in 1994 is remarkable. And it took years for any other video game to come close to achieving what they managed then. And then I finished Sonic & Knuckles. I didn't finish Sonic 1 and Sonic CD, but I've played them more recently. I did play through a lot of Sonic 2. I saw the bugs. I was crushed in stupid places. I thought, it's an overall, it's a good collection. I recommend it wholeheartedly. With the patching, it will become more improved, hopefully, less fragile than has been reported. I do think it's worth the money. But I just couldn't get over the devastation of what they'd done to what had been the shining spark of my childhood. And then a few days later, I was in my GP surgeon's office, and they said to me, "You've got to go to hospital." And then I got to the hospital, and they said, "Oh, you've had a positive COVID swab. We don't think you need surgery, but you probably shouldn't have a general anaesthetic if you're COVID positive." And it took them 3 days of debate, me lying in the hospital bed, them debating, do we put, you need the surgery, but it's not life-threatening. Do you want it took them 3 days to decide to actually give me the general anaesthetic. But then they said, well, the trouble is we've got to put you on a ward to isolate you, because if you've got COVID, you can't be mixed with all the other people on that. And I completely get it, but my surgery was delayed by a week. But I'm glad I've had the surgery, but it's taken me another 3 weeks since then to recover, to feel healthy again, to actually be able to sit down in front of this computer, pick up the microphone and talk, and I feel better, but I also feel drained and shocked and like something's missing, which is kind of how I feel about Sonic Origins. It's great, it's brilliant, I adore it, but there's something missing. So this review's a month late, the channel's more than a month overdue, and I've only got good things to say about where we are now, because I'm, got to be happy for small things. I'm healthy, I'm alive, I'm able to record this, I'm able to sit down in front of a computer, and I know what my next 2 videos are going to be. But there's a lot of lost time to make up for, and I just feel that's where we are with Sonic Origins. It could have been more. There's loads more stuff they could have put in there that they chose not to. I understand why they did. But I really wish they'd got the music. If you adore the game, just look up the music and see what you were missing. It's this little thing that could have been better, and there's loads of little things that could have been better. The mission modes, this is one of the few games on the PlayStation series that I've platinumed. I don't regularly platinum video games, but I have done. I've been ill. I've had a lot of recovery time, and this, alongside going back to do some side missions on Nier Automata, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and replaying a big RPG that will become apparent soon, have got me through the recovery time. Thank God for video games. Yeah, that's Sonic Origins. It's a fun way to mess around, occupy time. It'll fill the time. And it will show you why people thought this hedgehog was something special back at the start of the early 1990s. It'll show these are the games that the movie, that seems to have gone down really well, was replicating. So enjoy that in its historical sense. But the thing to know about these games, gotta go fast, wasn't Sonic's tagline until 2003. That was the theme song from a TV series called Sonic X, and it stuck. Gotta go fast, gotta go fast. That people didn't play the Sonic games in the beginning with that mantra. Sonic was always presented as being fast. They were fast games. They were responsive, but that was about twitch reflexes. These games ran faster than anything else. The loop-the-loops, the spirals, the spectacle was what Sonic was about. If you play them thinking, well, I just held the right button and I didn't get to the end, I kept hitting spikes or badniks and losing my rings. If you play them with the mindset of, I'm not going fast, therefore I'm doing something wrong, there's a problem. There's a lot of other video channels who will be able to explain this far better than me. The Sonic video games in the early days were about momentum. Speed is the reward for playing well. What they're really about is understanding the physics and getting the momentum down, and the twitch reflexes to look at your surroundings, to anticipate, not memorize. Some of the later Sonic games do this. They expect you to play the level and replay to memorize the track to get good. You don't need to do that for these ones. And maybe, okay, I've got muscle memory from 25 years ago on my side here. But if you look at the levels, you can usually anticipate something of what's coming. If you see a slope going down, roll. You'll pick up speed going down the slope, and the worst that there can be down there is something that you have to jump over, and you probably won't have to. It's little things like that, picking up the way to play the game, to anticipate the way that you can use your momentum in the physical environment to allow you to move around. That's what was revolutionary about the engine of the Sonic video games in the early 1990s. And this collection, 99% of the time, replicates that perfectly. So I'm happy. And I'm glad to be back, and I hope more videos from this channel soon. Best wishes, everyone, and thank you very much for listening.